Most project failures don't start with conflict. They start with a nod. Someone explains the situation, the other person says, "Yeah, got it," and both walk away thinking they're on the same page. They aren't. When there's an open disagreement, at least you know where the problem is. You can put it on a table and work through it. But when both sides believe they are aligned, nobody asks. The gap stays invisible, right up until you are sitting in a room and something breaks. Now I want to be precise about what I'm actually saying here. I'm not saying that alignment is bad, by no means. I'm not saying that teams should argue instead of agree. Alignment is necessary, a foundation. The question is whether the alignment you have is real. In most organizations, we are aligned means we talked about it and nobody pushed back. That's not the same thing as common understanding. It just means nobody decided to question it. Think about how technical information actually moves in a project. An engineer explains a constraint, the program manager acknowledges it, and both move on. The engineer thinks he understands the limitation. The program manager thinks, I understand the direction. Both statements can be true at the same time, and they still don't describe the same thing. Here's the mechanism. When there's a gap in what was said, both people fill it in automatically, without realizing it from their own mental model of the situation. The engineer fills in from the technical constraints. The business person fills in from the commercial context. Neither of them is making a mistake in their own world, but they are completing a different picture. This is what is called false consensus. And it's not a communication failure in the ordinary sense. Nobody was dishonest. Nobody was careless. The problem is that human communication is always incomplete. We rely on shared context to fill the gaps, and in cross-functional teams, that shared context often doesn't exist. The most dangerous state in a project isn't conflict. It's two people who believe they are working toward the same outcome and aren't. What makes false consensus so hard to catch is that everything looks fine on the surface. Check-ins are happening, status is green, the feedback loop is working, except the feedback is confirming the wrong picture on both sides. This isn't a personality problem, it's a structural one. Engineers and business people don't just use different terminology. They operate in fundamentally different risk models. When an engineer hears, "We need this by Q3, the first question is, what has to be true for that to be possible? When a program manager hears the same sentence, the first question is, what do I communicate to the customer? Both responses are completely reasonable within their own context, but they produce very different internal pictures of what the project actually is. And here's what makes it worse. Both sides have been doing this long enough that they have learned to speak just enough of the other's language to sound aligned. The engineer packages technical information in business terms. The program manager learns enough technical vocabulary to ask the right-sounding questions. The translation gets smoother. The cracks get harder to see. In my work with industrial companies, I see this all the time. A system that's been running for years, everyone assumes it's fine. Nobody ever questioned that assumption. Then something from outside forces someone to open the system. A new integration, a regulatory requirement, a customer request. And suddenly, assumptions that were never tested become decisions that can't be cheaply undone. The same mechanism that produces technical debt also produces false alignment. You are kicking the can down the road, and every kick adds to the bill. I saw this directly in automotive development. A program manager and an engineering team had worked together for months. Regular communication, proper reporting, professional people on both sides. At some point, the program manager received a technical update. He understood the general direction. He didn't ask follow-up questions. It felt clear enough. In the next customer meeting, he presented the project status and he made a commitment. The engineers in the room caught it immediately. What he had just committed to wasn't technically feasible. Not with the constraints they had already been defined. Not in that timeline. Not at all. The meeting had to stop. The correction happened in front of the customer. Embarrassing, at least. Nobody had made an obvious mistake. The program manager had worked with the information he had, and the engineers had given accurate information. The gap was in what neither side had explicitly verified. He had read the technical update through a commercial lens. He got the headline, not the fine print. Here's the thing. The answer isn't more communication. It's better questions. What happens in the edge case? What did we not say out loud? What would have to be true for this plan to work? And have we actually checked that? Engineers do this with systems every day, implicitly. You don't assume a system behaves correctly. You test the boundary conditions. The question is why we stop doing that the moment we are talking to each other. Think about the last project where everyone was aligned. Were you actually aligned? Or did you just stop asking questions?